Cheers to middle of the week and my new hairstyle, which I am not even sure what to think of yet. Basically, this is one day past my hair washing day. So normally I would be washing my hair this morning and I did not. So I kept the curl in and I threw it up in a ponytail because we had a lot going on. And I'm just really glad to be here with you guys. So as you get on, please type in the chat where you're coming in from, what you're up to, what's going on for you. What are you calling in this week? What are you making happen this week? I've had so many great conversations. Oh my gosh, like the conversations, the type of conversations that light you up, they inspire you, maybe they make something click inside of you. Those are the kind of conversations I absolutely love, love, love to have. So, the past few days, I've been talking with friends, clients, and just have really, really, this has come up so many times. And you guys know I'd love to do videos on things that keep coming up, like trends I see, things that help people to be more empowered, step out in faith, to do the big things. And there's this thing that I think is so relevant and so like, once we get this, like once we fully get this and we embody this, it changes everything in our lives. Everything. And that's what I'm going to be talking about today. So there's so many different moving parts in success. There's so many different things that click and we realize and maybe it's through a failure. Maybe we have a failure and then on the other side of it we realize something that we needed, like a bit of information we needed, and it clicks and it allows us to see things in a whole new way that then propels us forward in a new way that gets results. Are you guys tracking? Are you carrying on with me? Let me know in the comments. So basically, what this is about is showing up every single day. Like showing up, being consistent every single day. But it's more than that. It's so much more than that. Like, I come on here regardless, no matter what, because I know that it's going to help one person, maybe two people, maybe three people, maybe a million people. But it's my job to show up here every single day, to be consistent every single day. Because even if there's no one on here, or even if the people on here aren't saying anything or interacting, even though that's what I love, that's what truly lights me up, and that's what makes this so much fun. Even if that's not happening, it's all happening behind the scenes. It's touching someone's spirit where they feel encouraged and they do something amazing, and it passes on and it passes on. So it's like this ripple effect. Like by me showing up here, it makes someone else's day. They go out, they get a promotion at their job, they do better. They have a moment with their family that's so deeply emotionally connected that their family comes back together, or just they start on that path of self-development and they start that path of growth and they feel better and better every single day. So no matter what, like me showing up here and it being like popping off and we're having conversations and having fun and it's inspiring, motivating, or if it's crickets, it doesn't change the energy I show up with. So it may change the energy if I like allowed it to. If I looked on here and I was like, "Oh my gosh, there's nothing going on in the chat room. It's boring, whatever. I want to just sign off." But it's on me to hold the energy of what I see the bigger picture is. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So grab your coffee, grab your tea, grab your Diet Coke, whatever it is you're drinking. So I had this conversation yesterday with you guys actually about how it's hard to beat someone who just keeps going. Like there's nothing that is going to stop them. They just keep going. They just keep showing up. They just keep learning. They just keep going. They don't stop. It's hard to beat someone like that. But what we oftentimes don't see, Like, oftentimes what we do see is a time constraint, or we see something where we have to make it by this day, or we have to make a certain amount of money, or we have to, have our business take off, or we have to this and that and the other thing. And I think when it comes to money, it's a lot harder to see than when it comes to something like bodybuilding. So I'm going to give you guys an analogy, and you can let me know in the comments if this is LOL, if this makes sense, or if you're like, whoa, mind blown. So it's your first day of working out. You decide you want to do an NPC competition where you are going into the bodybuilding arena. You're going to be building muscle. You're going to be doing the things that are going to get you onto that stage, and you want to win a pro title. You're like, it is time. I am ready. I'm going to show up every single day and give it my all. I'm going to drink my gallon of water. I'm going to do my gym. And when I go to the gym, not only am I going to go to the gym, but I'm going to give it my all in every single workout. I'm going to eat all the foods that my coach suggests or that I've pre-planned, and I'm not going to deviate. And on day 1, you nail it. On day 2, you nail it. On day 3, it gets a little hard. The momentum's gone. The new fresh car scent is gone. And all of a sudden you don't get your water in. And all of a sudden you miss out on the gym because you had a work thing pop up, or the kids needed you at home. And on the 4th day, same thing happens, only this time there's even more stuff that needs your attention. And on the 5th day, you completely aren't even in the same arena as you were on the first day. So on the 5th day, you look at yourself in the mirror and you say, I don't see any changes. It's not working. I'm done with this. I'm never going to work out again. I'm never going to drink water again. Probably end up dying. Please don't do that. Never going to work out again. Never going to drink water again. And you know what? Forget eating healthy. I'm done. How silly would this be? Just because you didn't see results and you didn't look like a pro bodybuilder who could step on stage by the end of the 5th day with inconsistent behavior, how silly would that be? How, no one would even think to do that. Bodybuilders, what happens is they go to the gym and they put in their all. They give it their all over time, every single day. Give it your all. Eat the right foods. And a week can go by and you're like, I see a little bit of change, but not really much. What happens when that compounds? What happens when you do that for long enough? And then you're in a totally different place 6 months from now, a year from now. So this applies directly to anything it is that you're doing. So if you are in business for yourself and you're just getting started in business and you open a new location and there's so much going on, you're getting everything set up and you have just a lot of stuff going on, or you're brand new in real estate and there's a ton of stuff you got to do when you're brand new in real estate. There's coursework, there's marketing, there's getting everything set up. There's a lot that goes into it. You are now your own business owner. You have to manage your time appropriately. But we can't put a constricting belief on ourselves that it needs to happen by a month, because what happens is we will always get 5 feet from gold if we do that. We will always get close, but it will create this frantic energy. It will create this unneeded energy of either a weight on you or this weird thing where you're in hustle mode for a period and you're making it work and it's working, and then you let off the brake because you're burnt out, and then there's a lull. And so it's like a roller coaster. It's kind of like dieting roller coasters too, where you eat clean for a while, you start to see results, and then you're like, oh well, I'm seeing results, so I'm going to go back to the old ways that I'm doing it. And then you hit a lull, and then you're like, oh, I'm unhappy here, I want to go back to where I was, so you eat clean again. And then it's like this ongoing freaking roller coaster that you're like, I just want to get off. I want to be at a place where I'm good at this and I'm doing good so that I can move on to other things in my life. Does that sound good? To be at a place where you're comfortable and happy and things are really, really, really freaking good. Like, they're not just mediocre. They're not meh. They're really good. It takes time. It really does. It takes times and times. It could happen overnight, and that's what people call like quantum shifts, quantum leaping. You may have heard that in the coaching community. But that's when things click, and that's like the compound of things that have happened beforehand that maybe people don't see on the offset. So it's like if someone who has been really good at networking for years and years and years and years and years all of a sudden gets into real estate, they're going to be a freaking superstar because they've spent all those years building up a reserve of people who trust them, know them, and like them. Our present day experience is a buildup of everything we've done pretty much like 90 days beforehand. So like everything you're experiencing now has like this lag time. There's this 90-day typically lag time of things that we've done in the past that are now coming up in our present future. So when we look at it when it comes to business, like if you're just getting into coaching, if you're just getting into YouTube, say you just started making YouTubes, say you just started some sort of business, a physical business, it's not going to be a click overnight thing. There's so many factors. There's the value, the content you're putting out, the products you're creating, the atmosphere you're creating, the energy behind what you're doing. There's the you-ness, like how you are being in that moment. There's do you feel like you're worthy? Are you charging appropriately? Are you asking for the sale? Those things that come into play, but it really comes down to us building up all of this, almost like a pressure of like everything's building up, building up, building up, and then all of a sudden you see it. Then it like pops and it's like, woo, champagne everywhere. And it's like that with planting actual plants. Like if you have any plants at your house, or if you've ever planted an herb garden, for instance, we planted a huge herb garden in Indiana. And I mean, you guys, if you follow me on Instagram, you've seen this herb garden. It was insane. But we planted all the seeds, watered it, and we planted them and waited probably 3 weeks before anything. Little teeny plants started coming up, and there were just little teeny mint plants, and there's a little teeny thyme plant, and there's a little teeny like sage plant, and there's all these little teeny plants that were coming up after 3 weeks of nothing but watering. So you're giving, 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 giving. And it feels like, oh my gosh, is this ever going to happen? Is this ever going to happen? Am I ever going to see the fruits of my labor? And then all of a sudden, bing, 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 and there's little herbs coming up. And you're like, wow, this is so cool. Like I had a part in this. And then the next thing you know, it starts to overgrow and you're having to like take plants out and put them in other planters because there's such an abundance of it because you were consistent with the watering, you were consistent with the care, you were consistent with the needs. It's like this for so many things, but there's so many times where we dig up in complete, not faith, like we dig up what we planted in faith too soon. So this would be like us planting that herb garden and watering it, watering it, watering it. And 2.5 weeks in, right before the magic began, we were like, we're just going to dig this up. Nothing's happening. We're going to throw it all away. How silly would that be? Like you would never even think about doing that because you know what's going to happen. You know what's going to happen. And same goes that trust, that faith, that energy, which you guys hear me talking a lot about feminine energy, masculine energy. The feminine energy is that trust. It's that faith. It's the being able to lean back and knowing. It's a knowingness. I am worthy of this. And I have done the things in the masculine energy. I've done the things and now I can lean back. I have trust. I have faith. I can lean back and watch as things start to happen. So this doesn't mean that you completely lean back the entire time. You know, you're still doing things. You're still, talking to people. You're still networking. You're still doing all the things, but you also have that trust and that faith, and there's no weird energy around what it is you're doing. So there's no weird, stagnant, like, I need this person to do this. I need this to happen. I need this sale to go through. I need this person to refer me. I need this. It's gonna just happen When you do good things, when you put out good work, it's gonna come back. It's gonna come back threefold, fourfold, fivefold, sixfold, whatever. It's gonna come back. And so if we know the end outcome, we know we're going to harvest the herbs from the herb garden. Why are we stressed in that 3-week period? So if we know at the end of what it is we're doing, if we know that things are going to move and shift and we're going to have success, we're holding that energy of success, there's no weird feelings, there's no weirdness in the middle part. We're just free to do and do confidently. So the more confidence you have, the more freedom you have in that, instead of that shrink back fear mentality, that doubt mentality. When we doubt, we fuck everything up. It's just the truth. When we doubt, we mess things up. You can be scared and do it anyway. You can be afraid and do it anyway, but if we have that doubt, it's going to block us from things. And I actually saw this firsthand yesterday. So we had this thing at Keller Williams where there's this board breaking ceremony where you write down what you're most afraid of and where that came from, and you write it down on a board. And the person holds it up, this guy, the facilitator, he's like, real estate Tony Robbins, holds up the board, and you're supposed to go boom and like punch through the board. And the board breaks and everyone cheers. But there were certain people who would go up and they are looking at the board and they're so doubtful that they're going to break through the board that they don't give it their all. They don't use their full body. They're scared. They're afraid, but they're also in doubt that, oh, this isn't going to work for me. And you could see it. I could see it in the way that they set up to break the board and the way that they held themselves before they went and broke the board. I could tell who was going to break it and who was not going to break it because they had that mental stuff going on. And then once they cleared that stuff, once they just cleared that stuff out of their mind, they were able to snap right through the board like it was like water. Like why is that? It's because of the doubt. If we doubt that we can do something, we're going to have a lot harder of a time doing the thing. And so here's what was like the most profound thing to me when I was sitting in my car today and I had this thought of how many times I've been so afraid to do something because I'd never done it before. And I talked about this in a really old YouTube, I think it was over a year ago, where I talked about a roller coaster. My friends and I went to Disney, and there was this ride that went all the way up in the air and then dropped straight down. And I was so scared. And I was like, I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do this. I had all the butterflies in my stomach. I felt like I was going to puke. I was shaking. I was so, so, so afraid to go on this ride, you guys. So afraid to go on this ride. I was doubting I could do it. I was like, I'm going to have a nervous breakdown on this ride. I'm going to have to tell them to stop the ride. I literally, everything in me was like panic mode, hit the button, panic mode. And we get to the front of the line and I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. We get on the ride, we go all the way up, and then it falls down. And I'm the only one who's not screaming. I'm having the best time of my life. I'm like, this is so much fun. Oh my gosh, I love this feeling. This is so awesome. And I want to go on it again and again and again. Now, that energy afterwards is a fully different energy. I proved that I could do it. I proved that it was fun. I proved that I liked it. But before I went on it, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know how I was going to feel. I didn't know, if I was going to make it out alive or not. It sounds so funny when I talk about this, but I didn't know. My brain could not comprehend. So therefore it says, panic, panic, abort, abort. Let's not do this. Afterwards, I'm like, let's do this again and again and again. And there was not that same energy there. I could get right back in line, be in the same place in line, and have a totally different experience, energy, viewpoint of what it is that I was about to do. Because I had done it before. I knew what to expect. I knew how I was going to feel. I knew that I was going to enjoy it. So this applies to anything. This applies to making cold calls. This applies to writing the email for your business. This applies to anything that you're doing that matters to you that you've never done before. So this is entering a new territory where your panic button may be like, panic, 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 scared, let's not do this. So you start to procrastinate. You're doing everything but the thing that you're supposed to be doing or that you want to do that will move you forward in your business, that will move you forward in life. So let me give you guys another example because I do a lot of this inner work. I do a lot of my own inner work through my courses. So my course that's out right now is called Full Faith, and it is a great course. It is an introduction offer right now for the month of June 2021. It's at $22. It's so inexpensive. This course used to be sold, I think, for like $333, something like that. This course is incredible. I'm going to be filming videos for the course as well. So there will be video portions going into the course that are going to be private videos all about the actual steps to get through and do the inner work on these things that are keeping us held back. So on like the doubt, the disbelief, all of that. There's going to be like step by step how to do it, how I do it, how I work through it. So basically, like whenever something comes up, like there's been so many things in my life. Like just because I teach on this stuff, just because I talk about this stuff doesn't mean that I don't have my own inner stuff. I have a lot of inner stuff. I've just worked past a lot of it already, and there's still next levels. So for instance, I had a story around why I couldn't make girlfriends in Orlando. Like I had this whole story in my head, you guys, like so crazy. And I had to go back through and do the inner work on it. And it was messy. It was really funny for me to go through that and do that work on it because there was a lot of stuff that was coming up that I'm like, wow, this is not even like this is just such past beliefs that popped up from like an unworthiness or a friendship that didn't work out in the past. And there's all these examples that I had to go through and work through and release those stories and rewrite the stories. And literally, I kid you not, like 2 days later, I had all these friends in Orlando who were texting me like, hey, let's do something, let's hang out. Like as soon as I released all that stuff, it was like all of a sudden I was like a good candidate for all the friendships, all the stuff. Same thing happened around like my NPC stuff. I was feeling really unworthy. I was feeling like, I had failed, which you could look at it like my last show. I had a lot going on, a lot of stuff going on my last show. And we kind of crashed down into the show. We probably should have not done that show and picked a later date. But I don't think it would have mattered, honestly, because there was something in me that did not feel worthy. And so, what this was showing up as is, all sorts of things, but mainly around food. There was this whole thing around food. And it was almost like a weird food addiction or a sabotage addiction that I had that was in the food category. And I talked about this in another video, the binge eating video, but I'm going to continue to talk about this stuff because it does relate to this as well. And, I've worked through it. I've gotten past it because I've done the inner work around it, but it kept popping up. And I was like, there's something weird here. I feel weird around this. I feel a heaviness around this. There's something stale around this. I want to work through this. And I identified that and I did all the steps. I went back through Full Faith and I did it over again for myself when it came to what it is I wanted competing because it wasn't matching up. What I wanted, to go pro, to do the bodybuilding thing, what I wanted did not match up to what I was actually doing. I was like half-assing it over here at best. Like I could have done so much better over here. But there was something in the middle, an emotion in the middle that was creating motion in my life that was leaning towards this side. So there was an emotion in the middle creating a motion because our emotions create our actions. They create our thoughts and then our actions. That was creating this over here, what I did not want. So what I wanted was over here. What I did not want was over here. And this inside, the emotion inside was completely like, this is so amazing. This is what I want. Yes, I want this. I want this. Everything in me wants this. But there's something in me that I need to go in and do some heart surgery, some soul surgery to move out, to figure out, to get past in order to get here, to get this cleaned up to match this, to get these to be balanced so that this wasn't weighing everything down. Does that make sense? So what I want to leave you guys with, because I have another call at 2, It's 1:54 right now. What I want to leave you guys with is hope that this life is for you. You know, you're learning, you're growing. And if you're in a place where you're at right now that you're not super happy about, where you're like, oh, I feel like there could be something better. I feel like there is something better. Or maybe you're just like in this funk and you're like, I need to just like shake myself out of this, be around some good energy. I have a free Facebook group, which I will link down below in the description box. I will remind myself to do that because I want you guys to be part of this community. It is a high vibrational community. These women are amazing, they're incredible. It's a community where I really want everyone to give back energy, you know, come in there, have fun, talk about your wins, your successes. You can even go live, whatever it is that makes you light up. Do it in the community. That's amazing. That's what this community is all about. It's all about inspiring each other, helping each other to reach next levels. That's really what I want to do in the community. So there's the free community that's on Facebook. And then if you want to work with me more in the realm of doing the inner work, it is a program, so it's not live with me. I'm just going to say that there's one-on-one coaching, which is available, linked down in the description. And then there is the $22 course, which will be going up to, I believe, $222 at the end of the month. So July 1st will be a full new price point, and there will be the videos coming too. Now, when you buy the course, you have it for life. It is yours for life, and you will get all the updates on the course. So as the course evolves, you get that too. So now is a great time to enroll in that. It is a great, great way to start on your journey. Or if you're far along and you're successful and you're doing great and you have all this amazingness around you, but you're like, I want to reach new levels in other ways too. The inner work is always necessary to go higher. There's always going to be stuff that pops up for us where we're like, okay, let's revisit so that we can elevate even higher. So that being said, I have those three options. The free Facebook community, which I hope you will join. I hope to see you in there. I hope to celebrate your wins. I have the Full Faith course. And then I have the one-on-one program with me as well, which is 3 sessions. They are 60-minute sessions. We get to be one-on-one. We get to work through stuff. We get to celebrate. We get to do all of that. It's a lot of fun. So I hope you guys got something out of this. I hope you got a aha moment. I hope you had a moment where you're like, wow, this makes so much sense and I can apply this in my life starting today. That makes me so, so happy. If you could do me a huge favor, share this video with someone who needs this message. Share this video with friends, family, whoever you love and want to support in their journey to greatness, to better things. Hit thumbs up, subscribe, and the bell notification so you don't miss any notifications for when I go live. I want you guys to be on here with me. I want to talk. I want to celebrate. I want to really create a really amazing community for us. And so I hope to see you on the next live stream. Much love. And I will see you guys later. Have an amazing night or morning whenever you are watching this. And I hope to see you in our community.